Hey everybody, welcome to the first ever All-Tidewater basketball selection show, Virginian-Pilot and 757 teams. I'm Jami Frankenberry.
And I'm Larry Rubama.
Well, we're going to take a quick spin around the high school basketball season, Larry. We're going to give you the All-Tidewater teams, first team, second team, and the players of the year. But first of all, it was a great basketball season. Sort of ended with no surprises. We had two teams, I guess you can call them dynasties now, winning state champions, Norcom boys and Princess Anne girls basketball.
Yeah, incredible play. I mean, you kind of knew it. They both struggled going into it, but they both pulled it out with great coaches. And it was great to see. It was great to see. First time ever. Teams winning 4 state titles in basketball, so it was great to see.
Yeah, we have two coaches, Darnell Dozier, the Princess Anne girls coach, Leon Goolsby, the Norcom boys coach. You spoke to both of them, wrote about them in a column last week. What do you think separates those two guys from the pack?
I think it's more about it's not all about winning. They really believe that. You hear some coaches say that, but they actually believe it. I mean, they're into really making a player seeing their final product at the end, not just when it comes to high school, not college, but the overall player. And they really care. They have really good relationships with their players. They push these players, which is what every kid I've ever talked to has talked about how tough these guys are, but they're tough for a reason, and it's tough love. And I think that's the reason why they're successful. It's not just about winning championships, but it's about seeing what these kids do later on, when they get older. So I love it. I love the way they treat them. They're just great coaches. Great coaches.
Yeah, some of those players that they coached this year will be in our inaugural Joy Fund All-Star Basketball Classic. That's this Sunday at Virginia Wesleyan, 3 p.m. for the girls, 5 p.m. for the boys. $5 to get in, all goes to charity, so be there on Sunday. Bring a couple extra dollars. Maybe Larry will sign some autographs for you, kiss some babies. But Larry, that game is going to be really interesting. The boys' game is public school versus private school. What are you expecting in that game?
I think it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it. First of all, you get all the guys from the public schools get to play with each other. A lot of times they're playing against each other, or now because of different classifications, they don't even get to see the other players. Now they get to be teammates. Then there's always been that little thing about who's better, private or public, and this is the private school's chances to prove, hey, we're just as good. We might not play against you guys, but we're just as good as the public school. So I'm looking forward to it. The coaches are excited. Mark Hall is excited for it. He's going to be coaching the private school team, and then, of course, LeVar Griffin's going to be coaching the public school team. Both coaches are excited, and I'm looking forward to see a great game.
Yeah, you can see those rosters and some more information on that game at 757teams.com. But right now we're going to get to the All-Tidewater teams. We're going to start out with girls basketball, the first team. Now, Larry, this is a, dilemma every year. You can only pick 6 players, but let's get right into it. The first team for the girls basketball, Jasmine Johnson, the Western Branch 5'10" senior center, Monitor Merrimack Player of the Year, and was basically a double-double machine. She finished with 1,300 career points and more than 1,000 rebounds. Also on the first team, Kyla McMakin from Ocean Lakes, a sophomore, the only sophomore on the girls' first or second team. She's a guard and forward who averaged 18 points and 10 rebounds a game. Kings Fork is represented on the first team by Amisha Miller, 6'1" senior forward, co-Conference 17 Player of the Year. She's headed to UNC Greensboro. And Norfolk Christian scoring machine Kiara Norman, 5'3" senior guard, led all of Southampton Rhodes in scoring this season, finished with nearly 2,000 career points. And the last member of the first team is Junaja Somerville of Lake Taylor. She's a 5'10" senior guard and forward who has signed with Charlotte. She was co-Conference 17 Player of the Year with Amisha Miller, led the Titans in scoring 14 points a game. Now there's one more member of the first team, but that is the Player of the Year, and we'll get to that right after Larry tells you about the boys' first team.
First team for boys, Michael Christmas, Lansdowne, 6'5", sophomore forward, who just found out also is the 6A State Player of the Year as a sophomore. Pretty incredible. He also was the 6A Region South Player of the Year and the Coastal Conference Player of the Year. Dejor Rucker, Cape Henry, 6'6", sophomore forward, another great sophomore, averaged 20 points a game, 10 rebounds, 3 blocks. He was also the Tidewater Conference Player of the Year. Joe Bryant, Lake Taylor, 6'2", junior guard. Had a great season this year, averaged 17 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, pretty much did it all for them. He also was the Conference 17 Player of the Year. And then we have freshman Cam Thomas, Oscar Smith, 6'1" guard. He led Southampton Rhodes in scoring 23.7 points. Was the first freshman to make the team in almost probably like 15 years. As I said, he also was the All-Monitor Merrimack Conference Player of the Year as well. And then we also have Sean Sanders, Green Run, 6'4", junior forward. He was the Atlantic Conference Most Valuable Player. He averaged 17 points, 11 rebounds.
Yeah, so that's the first team for the boys and the girls. Now we'll move on to the second team, and then we'll get to the players of the year, we promise, but that's a little bit of a cliffhanger. So on the girls' second team, John A. Cox from Wilson, a 5'11 senior guard, headed to Stony Brook. Princess Anne's Michaela Dickens, 5'7 junior guard, Atlantic Conference Offensive Player of the Year. Shaniqua Gilliam, star guard out at Atlantic Shores, a 5'9 sophomore. Kayla Hannibal of Salem led Salem to a great season. She's a 5'7 senior guard. Sydney Nichols, who poured in 28 points in the state championship game for Kings Fork. She is, just had a great game in that state championship game, averaged 13 points a game. Then the last member of the second team is Shanika Peterkin of Lansdowne, a 6'1 senior center. And Larry has the second team boys selections.
For second team, we got Darian Sebron, Lake Taylor, 6'5 junior forward, helped the Titans win the Conference 17 regular season and tournament titles. Raquan Harrell, Western Branch, 6'2 sophomore guard, scored 32 points in the Group 6A state semifinal. Even though they lost, he had a great season, really good season. Travis Ingram, the only player in the Virginia High School League history, boys, to win 4 consecutive state titles. Norcom, 6'3 senior guard, he's going to be going to play at Towson. TJ Taylor, Oscar Smith, 6'6 senior forward. Eric Marks, Lansdowne, 5'10 senior guard. He was incredible. He averaged nearly more than 20 points during the postseason. He really helped the Eagles. And then we also have Jonathan Norfleet, Salem, 6'1 junior guard. He was the Atlantic Conference Offensive Player of the Year, averaged 18 points a game. Really good. I mean, this is an excellent team, excellent team.
Yeah, it's tough to make those decisions when you only have 12. There's always one or two kids who you think are right there but just don't make it for one reason or another. So now it's on to the All-Tidewater Players of the Year. I don't think these will be any surprises because really they were the best players on the best teams in the state. We start out with the All-Tidewater Girls Basketball Player of the Year. That's Zaria Wiggins of Princess Anne. She's a 6-foot junior guard forward. She helped the Cavaliers win the 4th consecutive state championship. That's her 3rd as a varsity player. She was a team leader in scoring, 16.3 points per game, rebounding, 8.1, block shots, had 19 points and 14 rebounds in that state championship game, which you saw, Larry. And she was Atlantic Conference Player of the Year, first team all-region. And she's got a bunch of scholarship offers, Virginia Tech, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgetown. The list goes on and on. She's only a junior, but Zaria Wiggins of Princess Anne is the All-Tidewater Girls Basketball Player of the Year. And you have the Boys Basketball Player of the Year.
No surprise. Kevin KJ Davis, Norcom, 6'6 senior guard, helped Norcom repeat as the Group 3A state champions, 2-time first-team All-Tidewater selection, Conference 17 Player of the Year, averaged 20.3 points, 8.3 rebounds, 2.5 blocks. He is signed. He will be going to East Carolina. He's a kid you see who was not very vocal as a leader, but he showed up in his play. And then when they needed him most, when they got to the postseason this year, when they were struggling going in, he basically put the team on his back and said, "Let's go," and he led him to another state title. KJ is going to be. I'm definitely going to miss him because he's just a deadly 3-point shooter. Can move on the inside, outside. He's really worked on his game, so. He's very deserving of the award. Yeah,
I think it's really hard to argue against Zaria Wiggins for Girls Player of the Year and Kevin Davis for Player of the Year because they played great all the way through, especially in postseason. Like you said about KJ, Zaria did the same thing. She kind of hoisted Princess Anne on her back and really played great down the stretch. So that made a big difference for both of those players. Well, that's it for the show. You can learn much more about the teams and the players of the year. We'll have stories on the players of the year later this week at 757teams.com and, of course, in Sunday's Virginian-Pilot. Also on Sunday, don't forget, come out and see us at Virginia Wesleyan, the first ever Joy Fund All-Star Basketball Classic at Virginia Wesleyan. Girls game, seniors only, 3 o'clock. The boys game is at 5 p.m., also seniors only. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.